Lots of action coming your way in this programme, not least because of the changeable weather conditions. We're kicking off with the youngest class of all, the Moto rookie class for riders from just 6 years of age. It's been ultra competitive so far this season, with a different championship leader after each of the 3 rounds. And earlier I caught up with the current leader after round 3, Ollie Walker. Ollie, we've had 3 rounds of the championship so far. We've had a different championship leader after every round. You're the current championship leader. For the viewers, just tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you start riding?
I started 2014 and it was March the 21st.
That's pretty specific. How old were you then?
6.
Okay, so the championship, you've got the championship lead at the moment. Who do you think is going to be the biggest challenger to you for the championship this year then?
Well, anyone could fight for the win because it's a really tight championship and there's a lot of good riders out there.
And what would it mean to you to win the championship this year?
It would mean a lot because it's my first year.
Do you like the wet conditions? That's going to be important today, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the wet conditions. It's really slippery, but I go in the right lines all the time.
If Ollie's going to hold on to the championship lead, he's going to have to do it from P5 on the grid. Leo Peacock on pole. Josh Bannister, new to the championship, just 6 years of age. Last Thursday, he's going off P2. The only man missing off that caption was Keaton Payne. He's going off the back of the grid, just going through the picture now. Jake.
And Josh Bannister's got into the lead on the first lap through Oblivion, Crook and Fine Lady up the straight towards Christmas. And look, Bannister, as he goes through Fine Lady, not only has he got himself out in front, he's pulling away the number 2 in the WD-40 bike. He is charging forward as already it looks as though Peacock is having a good scrap with Brinton. They make their way through Christmas Corner. Ollie Walker there, now P4, championship leader of course, having to start from P5, so he's already made up some time as they go through Inkermans for the first time and down through the Zulus. 1, 2 and 3. Great battling in the first lap for third position.
Look at the lead. This is amazing. Amazing for a rider to come into the championship. He was only 6 last Thursday and he's just clearing off.
Where's he been hiding?
Peacock, their championship leader after round 2, had a nightmare, if you remember, Jake, at Rowra, but it looks like he's got the bike sorted. Anyway, Saffron Rotley on the 178 machine going through the picture there.
And just in behind that's Alexander Merchant, the 61. Bannister is in a different league out in front. This brand new rider to Fab Racing. He has absolutely charged forward in this Minimoto's rookie class. This is the scrap for second place. And they have been absolutely dropped by Bannister. Look at him go. He is absolutely charging up Manuel's bank and down the straight once. Oh, he's lost it! Oh no! Through Christmas Corner and Bannister has tank slapped it. Now can he get the bike going again?
Get on, go!
Don't wait for it, Josh. Don't wait for it. Just get on with it. He might have an opportunity to get himself back up the order here because he'll be down in about 7th or 8th place when he rejoins. But he could well storm his way back up.
I think he's waiting for some mark. Somebody's pointing at him to go, and now he's gone. He's in the background there. Yeah. I think he was waiting for someone to come.
Oh, we lost another one. That's Brinton.
Brinton
down in Zulu 3, and it looks as though they're dropping like flies. No surprises, really. Very tricky conditions here at Whilton Mill. And as they make their way into the boot once again, through the ankle, through the double apex at the toe, and into pit bend, or as we like to call it, the heel. This is now the battle for the lead of the race.
Nice to see Leo Peacock back on it after the problems he had at Rowra. He had a nightmare weekend there, but looks like he's got the problem sorted out on the bike, and it's between these two now after the early off with Josh Bannister on the 2 bike, the WD-40 machine. I think we might call him Slippy after that, Jake.
Yeah, but you can't really blame him. It's been a very difficult situation. Ryan Hitchcock in 3rd place. Now, don't forget, in the first round of the championship in the TV race, he had pole position before a mechanical problem. So now he's right up in P3. Good to see him fighting fit once again, as again these two continue. Oh, that's Bannister again. Oh,
he's crossed in Christmas Corner again.
Well,
oh, there he is.
Yeah, bike's upside down.
He's done a Mason Johnson.
He has a bit. Well, you can't really blame the poor lad. 6 years old, brand new to the championship. This is a tricky corner to get right.
Get on! Get on, Josh!
Well, hang on, I wonder, is there a problem with the bike? Because he has fallen down twice now, so I wonder, was the second fall caused by damage to the bike the first time around? It might not be. And that's Brinton trying to get restarted as well. Entering the boot, he stopped, so both those riders having a terrible day at the office, not their fault at all. And Sean Abel's gone off at Christmas corner as well, is up to the lead. That is a beautiful overtaking move there by Walker as he moves into the lead. Alexander Merchant's gone down as well at the hairpin. They are dropping all over the place here. Tricky conditions here at Whilton Mill. Another rider slowing. So out in front, this is Ollie Walker and Leo Peacock battling it out for victory. What about that for a move? Through the Zulus, and now he's going to get balked on the outside.
Yeah, the traffic comes into play there. It played into Leo Peacock's hands and then into Ollie Walker's hands. And there goes the 2-bike, the WD-40 machine of Bannister. I think Josh Bannister's inexperience in the conditions may have called him out a couple of times, to be fair. Peacock looking down the inside of Walker, can't quite get that done. They can't get the last lap board, Jake, as they go across the line now.
So one more lap of this tricky Whilton Mill circuit to negotiate, and both these riders have a claim to this victory. Leo Peacock, the 36, fastest lap, a 1:27. Here come the leaders up towards Fine Lady. Through they come, flat on the throttle. Now, Christmas corner. We've seen a lot of riders go down here. It's a very tricky corner to get right, a very wide apex. In fact, Cameron Sewell has just gone down at Christmas as well. There he is, just getting recovered by the marshal. So lots of riders, very slippery conditions. That's a beautiful overtake up the inside at Inkermans.
On the last lap, it looks like Leo Peacock, after the nightmare round at Rowra, may have recovered to take another televised win. Still got to hold on as they come down to the boot for the last time. Walker up the inside.
He's going to have a real job going on the inside line there, but it's not going to happen yet. He might get an opportunity into the final bend through the toe. 1 apex, 2 apexes. No, I don't think he's going to have a chance to fight back. It's going to be Leo Peacock who hangs on to the victory in fine style here. Cracking display, cracking ride, and that's a victory well earned there. And is he happy about it? What a stunning performance. So Peacock from Ollie Walker in second position. Absolutely cracking race. Very tricky in the conditions, and it's really played into the hands of those who want to make a play of it. Magnificent performance here at Whilton Mill. Let's take you through the runners and riders at the end of the race. Leo Peacock and Ollie Walker taking first and second place after that great battle. Ryan Hitchcock third, he'll be happy with that. Mason Johnson in fourth place, and in only her third weekend in the championship, Saffron Watley picking up a top 5. Great performance from her. What's that done in the championship fight? Well, Ollie Walker's still out in front from Leo Peacock and Mason Johnson, but new boy Josh Bannister got up and won race 2 and 3 of the weekend. So almost a clean sweep. Remember where you heard that name, folks, Josh Bannister. That's a future MotoGP rider.
Well, next up, the highlights from Moto Team. Now, in this one, 8 would turn up. 14 were at Rowra, only 8 this time. A little bit surprising. Minimum age 16, and multiple riders can ride on the bikes during the weekend. It would be the 71 bike, the old and peculiar team, Simon Dillon, who would take the early lead. His first appearance in the championship, he was chased by the 65 bike of Ox Racing's Mark Pollitt. Now, these wet conditions, and it was really wet at this stage, still raining, would sort the men out from the boys, and the 2 bikes out front were well clear of the battle for third. That was led at this stage by Cross Racing from the 19 bike of No Name Racing, Tony Campana. The championship leader after round 2 was Sam Clowes, but he wasn't going any further after technical problems. The 19 bike would come through for third place, and that's pretty much how it would stay when he passed the 89 bike of Cross Racing. But it was Simon Dillon on the 71 who would take a comfortable victory, coming through the boot for the last time. 56.8, 6/10 quicker than the man in second place, Mark Pollitt, and 4 seconds a lap quicker than those further down the field. A remarkable performance by Simon Dillon, his first appearance in the championship this season, comfortable victory. The 65 bike was ridden by Mark Pollitt for Ox Racing. 19 would come home in third, that's No Name Racing, Tony Campana, and the 89 machine of Cross Racing, Stephen Cross on board in fourth. And in fifth place, the Ride Faster bike. The championship positions look like this. No Name Racing, Tony Campana has a nice, comfortable lead at this stage. There's still plenty of racing to go from here on in. Sam Clowes, despite technical problems in that first race, would end the weekend in second place, with Devil Racing from first down to third. The mini F1 sidecar race would start with 7 on the grid, and in the class that's seen Team Williams battling with Big Girl Racing all season long, this one would be slightly different. It would still be Team Williams out front, but in the second place it was the 76 machine of Ems Racing being chased by Stainer Racing on the 17. The big girls will be struggling down in fourth. Also struggling was Team Hosker. They were spinning out in the final turn during the race. They'd get it going again, but well down the field. Just nice to see John Hosker back racing though after his big accident down at Lydd. Team Williams would go on to take their 9th win from 10 races. But the really interesting battle was this one as they came to the line to get the last lap board. Ems Racing were leading Stainer Racing. It was going to be a classic last lap. Jake called them home.
Out in front, fastest lap, but it's these boys we need to be keeping an eye on. Through Crook for the last time and up through Fine Lady. Ems Racing with Adrian Ems and Craig Walker being chased by the Stainer Racing lads as they fly through Christmas Corner, out through the quick left flick and up towards Inkermans for the final time. It's going to be anybody's guess as to who's going to get second place here. They tighten up under braking and into the Zulus. 1 left, 2 right, and then 3 left again. Hurtle through. This is going to be a great run down the inside straight as they make their way to the boot for the last time, and the Stainer Racing boys are going to have a look. No, they don't quite get an opportunity on the inside line. Can they get something through the toe, through the first apex, side by side? They're going to be so close, not quite able to get on the inside line. Surely now that's it, and Dustin, oh my word, big chum on the backside, and they just about clipped the barrier on the outside line. My word, that was close. Let's look at it again. He desperately tries the Stainer Racing bike to make the move on the inside. Ems Racing has already shut the door, so they come for one final lunge. Gas it, everything possible. Nab into the back there, just a little bit of a nudge, hits the wet patch, and you're on a one-way collision course with the barrier. Biff! And across the line goes the Ems Racing bike in second place. So, in the point standings, Team Williams have a near 100-point advantage with Ems Racing in second position, a few ahead of Big Girl Racing. Incredible stuff here at Whilton Mill, and there's more where that came from after the break.
Now, if you're watching Minibikes for the first time and thinking this could be something your children might be interested in, Scott Redding, the MotoGP rider, has his own academy, and it's run by the gentleman alongside me, Adam Cook. Now, Adam, tell us a little bit about the academy and how it can help people new to the sport.
Sure, so the academy was set up originally about 3 years ago at M4 Karting in Chippenham, and it was really there to help youngsters get into the sport. So we take kids that have got no ability in terms of riding a motorbike, and we teach them all the basic skills that they need to then ride a motorbike confidently. What we do is we've got 3 age and ability related groups, novice, intermediate and fast, so that a child can come in, learn to ride a motorbike and then find an ability group that's suitable for them. So it's a much more safer environment, so we can grow their confidence and then get them to a point whereby when they start racing, they've already hit the ground running.
And what about if you've got any dads watching, mums watching even, who think, well, yeah, that's something I think my kids would love, but I've got no experience in maintenance of a motorcycle, mini bike. I don't know how you change a wheel, for example, gearing. What can you offer them?
Yeah, and that's it. The academy is also there for parents. We do help the adults in terms of setting up the bike, changing wheels, setup, gearing, jets. You know, when we first started, or when I first started with my son, I made a lot of mistakes and it cost me a lot of money. And the academy is there to stop parents making the same mistakes we did. So at the end of the day, we're also there. So we also run workshops for adults as well. So again, all those things are covered at the academy.
And whereabouts are you based?
We're based in Chippenham, so it's M4 Karting in Chippenham, which is in Wiltshire. We've got a website which is www.scottreddingyoungridersacademy.co.uk. We can get more information.
So let's get ourselves ready to go then for the Minimoto Pro Race. It's Josh Watley and Callum Beach on the front row of the grid. Stainer and O'Gorman on row 2 from Cook and Claridge, with Finn Smart in P7. Jeremy Knight and Caris Jones sadly are non-starters, but keep an eye on Oscar Pinson, and possibly even Brodie Crockford could play a hand or two in this one. Away we go, very wet start as the riders make their way to Oblivion and Crook for the first time. Out in front, Watley will be wanting to control the pace early on here, but Beach, Stainer and O'Gorman will be snapping at his heels very early on indeed. And as they run up to Christmas Corner for the first time, that looks to me to be the 127 of Beach. He's got the lead.
Yeah, he's not just snapping at Watley's heels, he's out front. He's got a nice little lead early on. There's all the riders. It's O'Gorman down.
That's O'Gorman down at Christmas Corner. Where is he?
There
he is. Oh dear. So O'Gorman, in the same fashion that we saw Josh Bannister fall earlier on, he has gone at Christmas Corner now. He's got to work very hard indeed to get that bike going again and work his way back up through the field. Look at the rain here at Whilton Mill. Very slippery indeed. Second place Watley as he desperately tries to get back on terms with our leader, but that is going to be a real minefield for all the riders out there.
And there's Casey O'Gorman right at the back of this group. There he is, right at the back of the field. Won every race at round 3 and was really threatening for the championship lead this weekend. Josh Watley will be, I think, doing rain dances for the rest of the season, because these are the conditions where O'Gorman is not dominating. He's been absolutely dominating in the dry conditions, Jake, and Callum Beach it is in these conditions who's dominating today. Great ride by Callum so far.
Don't
fall off.
No, whatever you do,
fall off.
This is your perfect opportunity to take some big points in this championship fight. But now, of course, what we get to see from a spectator's point of view, we've seen what Casey O'Gorman can do leading from the front. Now we'll get to see what he's like working his way through the field. One by one, he'll have to pick them all off. Josh Watley in second place behind Beach. Third is Stainer. Fourth at the moment is the 44 of Cook, just in front of Claridge. And back with the leader, Beach, as he makes his way through the final turn. Max Parrish has stopped on Manuel's Bank, that short stretch up towards Christmas Corner. So it looks as if the treble one in trouble on this first couple of laps of the race. Look at the lead Beach has pulled out over Watley already, 2.01.
Yep, there is Max Parrish off to the right-hand side of the track there, just at the start of Manuel's Bank. He's obviously going no further at the moment. Watley is who is enjoying these conditions, not so much as Callum Beach at the moment. There's the traffic in front. He's got to negotiate that, gets past that quite sweetly. Here comes Beach down through the Zulus.
Yeah, that looked to me to be McCord. They were just making their way through on the exit of Inkermans, and that's a tricky situation as well. Look, he's actually made up some ground there a little bit, Watley. I know the gap was 2 seconds, but he is getting there, and Stainer is actually the fastest man on track right now on a 55.652 he did the last time around. Cook in 4th position. Here comes Claridge lapping McCord. And in 6th position, Finn Smart going around the outside into the ankle of the boot there to go past McCord. I know he's a back marker, but that's a brave move considering the wet situation. And look at how much Watley has decreased the gap. It's down to less than a second now. So
in 1 lap.
In 1 lap, yes. So working his way through the traffic, Watley has suddenly got the upper hand on Callum Beach here. This race isn't done. He's closing all the time. Look, under braking for Christmas. He is able to gain so much ground. I think Watley's going to threaten for the lead.
And Stainer's catching Watley, I think, as well. Stainer's definitely the fastest man on the track. That's James Cook. We've seen Max Parrish off the track in the previous shot. One of the dads still trying to get that bike going, but it's stopped so far. James Cook there, 9th in the championship, 4th on track. Here comes Beach with Watley right in behind, and the gap's down by another half a second, Jake.
You don't even need to time it. It's right on the tail of him now. He can practically breathe the exhaust fumes out the back of the bike as they make their way into the boot. Claridge trying to get away from Vince Smart, and here comes Watley. He's got a good run. He might even have a look into Oblivion. He's not quite close enough. A little bit later on into the race, we'll have a look and see. He's managed to get onto the tail, but he's not quite made the move yet. Stainer 1.5 seconds adrift, but they're cannoning through the field, these two. One by one, they pick off back markers up the inside of the 84 of Oscar Pinson through Christmas Corner. And again, this is brilliant riding from the second place man, Watley. He is just hanging on to the back of Callum Beach at the moment, not making the move yet. He's actually timing this to perfection. He's waiting for a good opportunity, and then he's going to stretch the advantage, because you want to be very careful in these slippery conditions not to just banzai for a move. You've got to time it absolutely perfectly, and he's got to get on with it quickly though, because here comes Stainer.
Stainer now, he was 1.5 seconds behind. He's now a second behind. He's the fastest man on the track, clearly. Callum Beach doing a great job to stay out front under pressure from Watley. I don't think he's had a look, so he may not know how close he is. 2 to go as they cross the line this time. Back markers in front of them, and you've got to negotiate the traffic. This is going to be a key point in this race, I think. Beach has made his way past. Watley looks like he's got a little bit balked, and here comes Stainer up the inside into Christmas corner. Watley gets balked by the back marker. That's helped Callum Beach no end. And Stainer right on the back of Watley now. He goes one side, Watley goes the other. Stainer looking down the inside of the hairpin. Can't quite get that done, but it's all on.
Oh, that was a real problem as Crockford balked them a little bit there into Christmas corner, just minding his own business, getting on with his own race. And that's pretty much what you have to do. You have to stick to the racing line, otherwise you can actually cause more of an issue. Stainer up the inside, into the ankle of the boot, and he's through into second position. Great overtake there from Stainer. Just stood on everything on the inside line and went, enough of this, I'm up to second, and now I've got 1 lap to chase after the leader, and there he is. I thought he would have got a long way ahead of these two by now, thanks to that little moment in the traffic, but into the final lap and in through Crook. He has not got that big a lead. Stainer is absolutely cannoning out of the second turn through Fine Lady and up to Christmas. He might have a chance of the win here.
I think Watley's going to be surprised that he's down in 3rd place. He'll be thinking just a few laps ago, this win is mine. I've just got to pick off Callum in the right spot, and all of a sudden he's down in 3rd, goes for 2nd. Can't get it done. Very close, but Stainer holds on. I think Beach has got this one, Jake.
That was brave. You needed some big tomatoes to pull that move off, but he's made his move there into 3rd position, still trying his hardest to get back into P2, but I think Stainer might have left this a little bit too late. He's done everything he can to get on terms with Callum Beach, but I think it is going to go the way of the 1-2-7 into the final corner, in through the heel and across the finish line. Magnificent result then, absolutely cracking, and 2nd place Stainer. He might as well have won the championship through the action he gives. Absolutely fantastic run, but it's Beach who takes the victory. 2nd for Stainer, 3rd for Watley. What a fantastic battle. That's the kind of battle we've been missing through the course of the season. And what about that? A handshake between those two, battling for 2nd position, Stainer and Watley, and that's great to see. Fantastic sportsmanship and camaraderie in this championship. And this boy, 2nd place, you'd be forgiven for thinking he's just won the MotoGP championship. Callum Beach, Corey Stainer, Josh Watley is your top 3. James Cook from Finn Smart in 7th place, just behind Harvey Claridge. Casey O'Gorman fighting back to take a good finish. Corey Stainer still celebrating on the bike. Looking at the championship points though, Casey O'Gorman went on to win races 2 and 3 in the dry. Josh Watley will be singing sea shanties all season long to keep the rain falling, now that O'Gorman is just 5 points adrift in the championship fight.
Callum, your first win in the class this season. I know you're absolutely delighted about that, in difficult conditions as well. Did you realise the guys were putting you under so much pressure?
Yeah, I qualified in 2nd, and in the first corner I was 1st, and throughout the race I kept a nice steady pace, and I noticed that they were catching me, so I went harder and harder, and I became to win the race.
And wet conditions today, pretty tricky. You like these conditions, I guess, do you?
Yeah.
Who do you want to thank for the win?
I would like to thank my mum, my dad and all my sponsors.
Welcome back. The Pit Bike 140 class is out there now. For once, the 140s in the Opens are not sharing a grid, such as the fruitful nature of the entry this time. Ben Bailey and Holmes Williams on the front row of the grid with Blanchard and Clues, Orland and Brunt. The only 2 names you didn't see on that list on the grid were Ryan Wincole and Martin Diet. They go off on the 6th row of the grid as they make their way through Crook and up towards Fine Lady for the first time. And Ben Bailey, no surprises, has already got a bit of a mission on his hands. He's lost the lead early on, and he is now going to have to fight his way through Christmas Corner and up towards Inkermans and through the Zulus to get himself back into 1st position.
This has been Bailey and Holmes Williams pretty much the whole season battling, and they're certainly battling now for the championship lead. There's the riders coming through the hairpin, down through the Zulus onto the inside straight. Pick out your favourite driver. Here comes Bailey up the inside, but gets his nose chopped off by Richard Holmes Williams. Ben Bailey 2nd into championship after round 3. It's Holmes Williams that has the lead currently.
In qualifying, of course, it was Bailey that got onto the First point on the grid. There's not a lot of room for manoeuvre on the run to oblivion. Blimey, you really had about a cigarette paper's width there to try and negotiate, and no wonder he's had to back out of the chase a little bit there. Third position, right on their tail. That is Blanchard, and he wants to make his move count as well, and Klaus is there in fourth position, the 33. It is a four-man brawl as they make their way towards Inkermans and Zulus for the first time. Great riding from these four as they continue this dogfight throughout the 2015 season. Holmes Williams has got a real tank of pressure that he needs to keep under wraps here.
Down onto the inside straight, the conditions are changing. You see it's stopped raining, and in parts of the track it looks like it's drying. These can be pretty tricky conditions as they come down through the boot, through the heel of the boot. The only change in positions in the top six is for the lead. In fact, it's Holmes Williams from Bailey, and then comes Blanchard, Sam Clowes, Tom Orland and Ben Brunt. They are in 5th and 6th place respectively, but here come the leaders up through Fine Lady, up Manuel's Bank into Christmas Corner one more time. You can see Williams just putting in, Holmes Williams just putting his foot down there, a little bit hesitant in the conditions, into the hairpin one more time. They both negotiate the hairpin successfully and down into the Zulus, which brings them out onto the inside straight.
Yeah, this is a difficult situation for racing drivers and motorcycle riders alike. Nobody likes these conditions where it's somewhere in the middle between wet and dry. It's that greasy, slimy conditions of the circuit that really catches the bike out. The riders are really going to have to work proactively through every single corner, particularly getting on the throttle. It's all about timing, and Bailey is now starting to make his move on the inside of Holmes Williams. That was a very brave attempt, and it's definitely a state of intent from number 28, Ben Bailey, as he charges up towards Holmes Williams once again, down the stretch towards Christmas Corner. Oh, that looks like Martin Diet, who's got a problem there, just off to Manuel's Bank. And again, Holmes Williams just taking in the pressure. He doesn't want to push too... Oh, he's lost it! They've both gone down! They've both gone down together!
Leaders out. Holmes Williams went down. Looked like Ben Bailey went down in sympathy there. Didn't...
Wow.
Well, he didn't hit Holmes Williams. Here's the replay.
These are the two riders battling for the championship. Let's watch. Holmes Williams, he gets on the brakes just as normal. He's a little bit closer to the right than perhaps we've seen in previous laps. Bang, he goes down. Bang, down they go together. They both just got caught out. It just looked as if the pressure of the situation from Ben Bailey caught him out, and his arms are in the air. It's like, I can't believe I fell off with you. I should have been more careful about that one. Unbelievable. I've never seen that before.
Well, he handed him in the lead effectively, and then he went in behind him. So it's Damien Blanchard that leads it now, the 21 bike.
Holmes Williams up to 4th position, Bailey up to 6th, so they haven't lost everything yet. But Blanchard, he must have think Christmas has come early, and that's Bailey again. Bailey's gone again at Christmas Corner. This is exactly what we were saying. The slippery conditions, halfway between wet and dry, it's going to cause issues. And Bailey, I think he's actually got some damage to the bike now. So is that going to be a trip back to the pit lane? Because he's really going to have to work this one. Holmes Williams seems to be back on form, up to 3rd position once again. So he has got himself back into a podium-paying position. So in the championship fight, Holmes Williams looks to have got away with that one. Ben Bailey, that's a severe hammer blow. Can he catch up now to Blanchard and Clowes?
Yeah, he's well behind. Later in the race again, here comes the leader. Up Manuel's Bank into Christmas Corner one more time. It's Sam Clowes in 2nd. There's Holmes Williams in 3rd. Brunt is 4th. Oh, and Holmes Williams, he's gone down again!
Done it again at Christmas Corner!
So now we've had Holmes Williams down twice and Bailey down twice. Where's Bailey? Is he catching him?
Well, later into the race, we're watching the battle for 3rd position. Ben Brunt and Daniel Swift! A tank slapper for Brunt! Oh, that's a big one as well. That will have caused at least a graze or two. A couple of bruises from that one. Let's look again. Just too deep into the left-hander, and the bike just chucks him off.
And Daniel Swift just rides by, and this is a great performance by Daniel Swift, by the way, Jake. I think he started P9, and this is his best performance of the season into the last lap. Bailey set the fastest lap, but it's this man, Damien Blanchard, out front. Not to mention the fact that Daniel Swift is through to 3rd, and his dad is down the middle of the track. There's 3 riders off there, just having a chat about the conditions, I guess.
Yeah, that looks like Diet. Orland is there as well from earlier on, and Brunt. They're all off to the side of the circuit, the same place, as if to go, well, what were we supposed to do, effectively? But Blanchard, is about to prove that age-old adage in racing: to finish first you must finish. And Blanchard has controlled the pace very nicely after the falls from Holmes, Williams and Bailey. Damien Blanchard out of the final turn. That's a very tasty victory indeed. Second place for Sam Clowes. Great run from him, and he is very happy with that. Third position. What a run from Daniel Swift.
There's Daniel Swift's dad. He's absolutely delighted.
And that was well earned as well. Yes, okay, a couple of the big names fell, but Daniel didn't.
Yeah,
Sean Whittaker
Whittaker
across the line in fourth place. Behind him is Ben Bailey. How about that? So Bailey recovers to fifth position. Holmes Williams, by the way, recovers to sixth place in the end. And if we look in the championship points, it's really turned things around after a tricky weekend at Whilton Mill. Ben Bailey, he had a 9-point deficit in the championship. Now he's 2 points ahead of Richard Holmes Williams, with Damien Blanchard solidly in third place. The championship in 2015 is on and alive and kicking. Let's move on to the pit bike open race. Charlie Nesbitt and Fraser Rogers on the front row of the grid from Cook and Strudwick on row 2. Toms and Knight, Ansell and Qualters, McCord and Daniel Lee. Sadly, James Ansell is a non-starter, and you may notice Damien Blanchard and Tom Orland from the 140 races tagging on the back for some extra track time out on the Whilton Mill circuit. Through the first couple of corners they go, and that man out in front, Charlie Nesbitt, fresh off the back of his brilliant performance in the Moto Star Championship in BSB, finished 9th out of 33 riders at Alton Park last month. So that is a rider who is definitely going places, and back here at the Fab Racing British Minibike Championships, he is already out in front and pulling away.
Fraser Rogers in second place there, missed round 3, so dropped some points on Charlie. But Charlie, if you remember, at Lyd had the lead from Fraser and put it down in the final turn. He's had a lot of incidents this season.
Looked like Strudwick making the move on Cook there for fourth position. Up to third off the grid is TJ Toms, who's had an absolute flyer off the grid in number 6. So there he is, fourth in the championship after the third round. Up to fourth position, the battle raging there as Cook defends valiantly from Strudwick as they make their way up towards Christmas Corner once again. Rogers putting Nesbitt under pressure, the pair of them getting away nicely from TJ Toms. And here comes your battle for fourth position. Max Cook, fifth in the championship at the moment, just in front of Strudwick, fourth on the road. And it's a very close battle already between these two. They've already swapped positions a couple of times. And they make their way out of Inkermans down towards the Zulus. 1, 2 and 3 once again. Here's your leaders. Charlie Nesbitt in front of Fraser Rogers. Then we look back, TJ Toms after that cracking start up to third. Then it's Cook in front of Strudwick, actually pulling away a bit now. Knight in sixth position. Then it's McCord. Qualters is there in eighth position in front of Blanchard, Daniel Lee, and then Orland at the back of the field in 11th position for the moment. They make their way through Oblivion and Crook up towards Fine Lady once again. And Nesbitt, oh, we've got a rider stopped by the look of it.
Couldn't quite see who that was, but Charlie Nesbitt pulling away from Fraser Rogers here, the more experienced rider, suffering in the conditions, finding it difficult to track down the 14-year-old. To come into Inkermans one more time, gets a little bit closer, but Charlie has always looked strong this season. He's had a few issues, hasn't he? Went down at round 1, went down at round 2 while leading, round 1 while he was in fourth, went down at round 2 while leading, but then took a comfortable victory at Rowrah. No Fraser Rogers at Rowrah last time, of course. Charlie took a comfortable victory there.
Here's the battle for third position. Toms, Cook and Strudwick. I think the man who's gone down is George Knight, the 123. He's not there. So in P6, it looks as if Knight has fallen away from this group. Unfortunately, it looks as though he is out of luck on this particular occasion. So back towards Oblivion they go, through the left and in towards Crook. Careful on the way through, very easy to overcook the bike at this point. Oh, the 123 is slowing, so it was Knight in trouble, and that's really going to hamper his chances. We go into the last lap now, and if we look back, Nesbitt is in the lead, but it sounds to me as though Fraser Rogers has had some difficulties. He's fallen away from the back of Nesbitt, who is now out in front, coming up towards McCord to lap him on the last lap. Oh, he's lost it! He's lost it on the exit of Christmas! Down he goes. That's the third time this season he has fallen while in a strong position. The second time this year from the lead. He's going to have to get back on the bike quickly, otherwise he's... Wait a minute, where's he going?
He's chopped the corner off,
He's completely
Jake.
missed the corner. Now, hang on a minute. Now, that's not something you'd see every day in MotoGP or on the BSB bill. Let's have a look at it again. He loses the back of the bike coming in. It's a similar incident to what we saw earlier. He loses the back end. Here he goes. Oh, not quite the full tank slapper, but he loses it on the low side. And then he cuts the corner. Now, this is a karting circuit. In karting, if you cut the circuit by that much, it's about a penalty of a lap, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 1 lap penalty. He's been given a 10-second time penalty for missing part of the track by Roger Keys, the race director, as Fraser celebrates. He probably knows he's won if he's seen him missing the corner.
Well, absolutely.
Roger Keys going soft in his old age. I think I'd have given him a 1 lap penalty for that, but it was Fraser Rogers that took the win from TJ Toms, Max Cook in third, Charlie in fourth in the end, and Thomas Strudwick down in fifth. The championship points now look like this: 221 for Charlie Nesbitt. Fraser's got a bit of work to do to catch him. TJ now down in third place. Controversial end to the race. More action coming after the break.
Once again, it's GP50 time in the Fab Racing Minibike Championship. Blake Ansell and Josh Watley on the front row of the grid, with Addy Behal and Cameron Hall just on behind. Ocean Jones and Harvey Claridge on row 3, ahead of Callum Beach and Oscar Pinson, with Jay Abel and Luke Coggins rounding out the 10-bike grid. Away we go with Callum Beach on board. Look at Ocean Jones. What a launch from 5th position on the grid. That's going to get him into at least 4th place, possibly 3rd. He's had to back out a little bit. Addy Behal was there. Cameron Hall's back on the inside line. Beach has got good acceleration, and he's through up into P4.
So Callum Beach does the pair coming out of Fine Lady onto the straight. Hall up the inside though, it's got him back. So Hall back to 4th, Behal there in 3rd. It's still Josh Watley as Beach now goes back into 4th up the inside of Cameron Hall into the Inkerman's hairpin. Round the outside of Behal, he's not going to make that stick. Behal will hold on down through the Zulus. There is Behal, so Behal is still 3rd. Beach in 4th, but here's the leader, Josh Watley from Blake Ansell. Ansell won at Rowrah. Spoke to his father earlier in the day. Thought that was a bit of a fluke, to be honest. Doesn't look so much of a fluke now, does it? Still got the pace.
Yes, indeed. He's right on the tail of him as well. He might have a challenge here out of the heel of the boot as he makes his way down the straight. He's got a good run on Watley. He could take the lead here into Oblivion and out through Crook. We'll have a look again, hopefully, as we get to the second lap of the race. Here's Beach now. Look just up the road. Ansell and Watley side by side, so they're swapping places. Big style as well. Who's going to hit the front out of those two? Ansell appears to be going right round the outside to take him. Yes, he has. Ansell takes the lead then, and he of course was the TV race winner at the 3rd round of the championship last time out at Rowrah, so he's now got himself into the lead where he started the race, of course, from pole position. He is now back in front, so lots of jostling and swapping of positions here. Ansell trying to stretch out a lead over Watley, and he's getting on with it, isn't he? He suddenly seems to have found a burst of energy and a burst of pace, and he's getting away from the current GP50 and Minimoto Pro Championship leader.
That's Behal on the 50, then comes Beach, Hall, Ocean Jones comes next. So that's the grid so far. Competitive this championship has been all year. These sort of conditions find out everybody, don't they, Jake? They really do. I mean, to be fair though, Blake Ansell there, he won in the dry at Rowrah. Dad thought that was a bit of a fluke, he said to me. He's got a 2.2 second lead here, and these are different conditions. So I don't think this is what the Ansell clan were thinking was going to happen this weekend. I don't think a win was part of the script for them, but looks like it could be now as Jones comes up the inside of Hall. So Ocean Jones makes up a place.
Yes, indeed. I think Blake Ansell may have hit a sweet spot in this championship. He finally seems to be clicking with the bike. No matter where he goes, he's on the pace. As up the inside again comes Hall. He left that very late to try and make the move back through. That will cost him a second or so, unfortunately. Look at the leaders. They have absolutely got away from this battle for 3rd position. Now, hang on. That's a signal. Is that Addy Behal's dad?
Yeah, it is. Oh, we've got a part falling off Cameron Hall's bike, I think, as well.
Well, hang on. That's the man in 3rd position, Addy Behal, getting a signal from somebody who's supposed to be marshalling. What's the ruling on that?
Yeah, he's on track as a pusher, isn't he? He's on track, Addy's dad, as a lot of the dads are, in case they fall off. They're there just to help everybody. They're not there to give signals. I'm not sure what he's holding in his hand, but he's certainly giving him some sort of signal. And the penalty for that, Jake? I think it's 60 lashes and a month in prison. I'm not sure I'm being too harsh there, Jake.
Oh, surely even the FIM aren't that strict with things that happen in the world of senior racing. And up the inside, Ocean Jones making a move on Callum Beach there. So up into 4th position goes Ocean Jones, that looks like. Beach is losing some ground now. Unfortunately, he's lost another place. There goes Cameron Hall through to 5th position. So Beach is down to 6th place now. He's lost the toe of Addy Bihal, and he's lost 2 places in the shape of 2 corners. So Addy Bihal, there he is getting away. Another signal to Mr. Bihal.
120 lashes, 2 months in prison.
It's just getting worse, isn't it? Oh dear, oh dear. I wonder what the officials are going to make of that one. But up to the 2 apexes of the toe.
I can tell you that Roger Keys has penalised people in the past for giving signals to riders. They're not there to give signals to their riders. They're there to pick up the bikes if they fall off. That's what they're there for. So I'm sure Roger will have looked at that. He might be having a word with Addy's dad at the next round, possibly.
Well, that notwithstanding, we've got a cracking battle for 3rd position, and Bihal is about to lose a place. Ocean Jones up the inside to 3rd position. What a ride this kid is having. Down to P6 at one point, started P5, and he's now on the 3rd step of the podium. He's doing a great job. Addy Bihal has not given up, though. He's got that determined stance, trying to close up on him once again. The leaders have disappeared.
Yeah, Blake Hanson, look at the lead he's got over. Where's Josh Watley? He's not even in the picture there. He's got a massive lead. Here come the rest. Here's the battle here for 3rd place. It's Jones from Bihal and Hall to come through the boot. This is the toe of the boot. There's traffic in the way. You've got to make use of the traffic. Ocean goes round the outside and he goes within. Cameron Hall down the inside of Jay Abel.
And it's a difficult situation that these guys are having. They're in their own battle. We're into the last lap of the race about to start now, and this battle for 3rd position continues to change. But these guys out in front, Blake Ansell and Josh Watley, have been consistently lapping 2 seconds a lap faster than the boys down in 3rd position. Here we go, Jones, Hall and Bihal. Unfortunately, the other man in the equation, Callum Beach, has fallen away from the battle, but it is a 3-man scrap for 3rd position, and it's not done as Blake Ansell kicks to the side and takes the checkered flag in fine style.
He's got a 17-second lead in the end. He's come home in front of Josh Watley. Here's a battle for 3rd place. And Jones has lost 2 places on the last lap, Jake.
Yes, Bihal's up to 4th position. Cameron Hall's going to get the podium here. Addy Bihal fights his way back through to 4th place. Ocean Jones, he worked so hard, and he seems to have lost that podium position on the final tour. Unbelievable. Cameron Hall finishing up in 3rd place then. 4th for Addy Bihal and 5th for Ocean Jones, but none of them could match the pace of Blake Ansell. Not even Josh Watley could.
Yeah, I'd like to see the conversation between Blake and his dad after the race. So it was a fluke, Dad, was it? Yeah, really? I don't think so. Josh Watley leads the championship on 240 from Ocean Jones on 195. Addy Bihal back on 193, just 2 points off Ocean. Blake, when I was talking to your dad earlier in the day, he thought the win at Rowra was a bit of a fluke, but didn't look much of a fluke today, did it?
Well, I'll have to speak to him about that, but no, it was a good start. Josh managed to take me on the first corner. It took me about a lap to catch up, managed to take him on the straight, and then from there I kept on pulling and pulling away, and then I kept on having a few slips, and I looked behind and I noticed he was nowhere near me, so I started to calm down, and then the last lap sign, and I just kept on going and going until I managed to win. And I'd just like to say a big thank you to Mike, Johnny and my parents and family for supporting me.
So the last race of the day then, in the GP70 class, it's Elliot Pinson and Tom Alexander on the front row with Johnny Campbell and Jake Clark, Brandon Payne and Addy Bihal. Now we should point out there are 2 riders in trouble already. Bihal dropped it on the sighting lap, and there's the other one who's in trouble, Fieldhouse. Jodie Fieldhouse dropped it on the sighting lap as well. Damage to her bike, looks as if she isn't going to be racing either.
Yeah, and Addy Bihal hasn't made the grid, so that's a disaster for him in terms of the championship. Tom Alexander's come from P2 to lead it, puts his foot down, just in the conditions. Oh, that's a championship leader down!
That's Clark off for Christmas. My word, that really has been the corner for drama here this weekend. Jake Clark, the championship leader, falls off the bike, and now he's down at the back. Let's see how he did it, because it's just on the exit, isn't it? The back wheel.
Yeah, that part of the track there is so slippy. We've seen so many bikes go down there. It is part of the racing line. I will say this, Jake. Earlier on, I was speaking to one of the dads and saying, well, I mean, this is a kart circuit. The karting line, if you like, is around the outside of the turns where the rubber isn't. If you, for example, PF International, as we see, that looks like Elliot Pinson going for second on Brandon Payne and makes a nice move there. So qualified pole, he's back into second place. If you went to PF International, for example, and took the racing line in the first hairpin at PF International, it is like ice. when the rain has come down on the rubber and you go and walk on it with a normal pair of shoes, you will fall over. It's absolutely like ice. And I asked one of the dads earlier, I said, well, do you ride round the corner? As you see, he's taking the normal racing line. And they went, no, just take the normal line. I thought that was quite surprising, to be honest, but obviously that's what they do. But we've seen a lot of people falling off today. Maybe that's why.
We certainly have. A little bit further into the race, we can see Alexander has been caught by Elliot Pinson. Brandon Payne still there in third position. Fourth place, Cameron Hall in front of Johnny Campbell, the 155. And already a few moves up the inside. That looks as though we've got a slight problem, or is that a back marker? Is Johnny Campbell coasting to a standstill?
No, I think he's still running. Johnny Campbell, I saw him in practice, Jake. I was timing him in practice, just through the Zulus, actually. Just a little section of the track. He was 0.2 of a second quicker through that section than any other rider at the time. And I thought he was nailed on certainty to win this if it stayed. It was dry at the time. If it stayed dry, of course, the rain's come, different conditions now. But he looked ballistic early on in the day, but not so much now in these conditions. Alexander's looking great. We saw him slide off at Landau in McWhirters, didn't we, when the conditions were quite tricky. They're worse than that. They're not dry and wet. They are definitely wet now as they come up in the Christmas corner one more time. He's got his foot out. He's got the lead of the race. He doesn't want to fall off now. Johnny Campbell's made his way up to fourth. That's Cameron Hall in fifth. There's Jake Clark, who's in sixth place. So he's recovered, but down the field, the championship leader.
Yes, indeed. They're a long way ahead of Felix Hearn, who is the man who's been lapped on the last couple of laps. And this battle really shaping up. Tom Alexander and Elliot Pinson getting well away from Brandon Payne, who is having a bit of a no-man's land race, it has to be said, in third position. Still looking good for good points, but he's nowhere near the pace of these two out in front. And it's all about the pressure now. Elliot Pinson can put Tom Alexander under some real intensity in these last few laps of the race. He's really got to work hard to hold on to this advantage. Down towards oblivion once again on the inside line. Pinson is starting to make a threat on the inside, and he's through. Pinson takes the lead out of Crook, and look at him get away from Alexander. He has really nailed that move, and he's got a bit of a gap between himself and the number 5 already.
That's gutting for Tom Alexander. Has had the lead for most of this race. Fastest lap by Elliot Pinson, not a surprise. 56.963 on the orange bike, and looks like he's got it. We've got Johnny Campbell down in the boot, crashed in the boot, and I think there may be red flags coming out. If red flags are out, the race is being stopped, and we're going to go back a lap. Tom Alexander's going to win this, Jake.
That is amazing.
They go back to the last completed lap, and Elliot Pinson, as we come past Johnny Campbell, see him on the track, there he is being helped to his feet.
Oh, goodness.
He'll get up, he's okay, but Tom Alexander on countback, it goes back to the previous completed lap. He has taken the win. He'd be delighted. He won't know about it at the moment. He'd be delighted when he gets back and finds out he's won the race from Elliot Pinson, Brandon Payne, Cameron Hall and Jake Clark, the championship leader, in fifth, but still got the championship lead intact. B. Hull didn't start that one. It's a 26-point championship lead. Tom Alexander now in third place.
Definitely good to see Johnny Campbell is okay. We move on from Whilton Mill after a cracking weekend's action on to nearby Suffolk, where the Red Lodge circuit will play host to the Fab Racing British Minibike Championships, hopefully with better weather and just as intense motor racing around the circuit. We'll see you then.